Hi guys, it's Lesley Tao. Now today I'm going to teach you how you can overcome your fear. Now guys, fear, it's a very interesting topic because ultimately it prevents us from taking action even though you might really want to. I was speaking with someone recently, actually literally 2 days ago, who was telling me about a great rent-to-rent portfolio that they could have taken over 10 years ago. So my question ultimately for him was, why did you not take that portfolio over, and what stopped you since 10 years ago from taking action? Because he's still talking about it 10 years from then. Ultimately, it boils down to fear because he didn't have the knowledge to operate the rent-to-rent properties. He didn't have X, Y, and Z in place, but ultimately, his biggest liberating factor was that he was scared and fearful. Now, this is very common. So if you guys find yourselves ever saying, oh, I'd like to purchase this, however, or but it's too expensive or it's not the right time, you know that you've gone into the fear zone. And hence, this is what this section is all about. This red dot is fear. Now, guys, what I'm here to tell you and try and teach you is that most successful operators don't operate in this zone at all, okay? Even if we are scared, okay? So what happens is this. If we are scared, for example, I'll just use a property course. So I really want to go on your property course. I hear this all the time, by the way, to learn about rent to rent, but it's too expensive. So for me, if I was wanting to go on this course because I know it would change my life in terms of it would bring me money to give me freedom to do X, Y, and Z, the biggest thing that successful entrepreneurs do is figure out how. That's why we've got H up here, how. How am I going to afford buying a certain course? Or how am I going to build a rent-to-rent portfolio to achieve my financial freedom? That is the biggest question. They're going to find out what is the mechanism to their means, okay? Now, the how bit is the bit where you would basically need to break down your roadmap and how you're going to reach that point in terms of figures as well. So for example, when I started off, my goal was £10,000 net a month. And from my calculations, based on £500 net on an HMO rent-to-rent property, I needed 20 properties to get to £10,000 net a month. Okay, 10,000, 20 properties. Okay, and although I was able to reach that goal in terms of £10,000 by using a different strategy, rent to service accommodation, in between 4 to 6 months from memory, the main thing was I mapped out how I was going to get there before I even got there. And although I was scared, this was not in the equation. Now, there are times, so you've got the data, the analysis, the sort of figures to go with reaching your goals, okay? But then, what is it that's going to keep you going and for you to keep implementing and not wait 10 years and still be wondering what if, right? It's the why. This is so important. So why is what you need to find out emotionally that drives you. And for me, it was because I wanted to be back home with my parents in England, and I wanted to bring my husband over, who was still working in Dubai at that point, and I wanted to start a family. So for me, my why was strong enough to make sure that I keep driving through until I reach my goals. So armed with the data of how I was going to do it and the why for implementation, you've got a successful formula. So guys, I hope that this has helped you. This formula has helped me break it down. But if you're ever finding yourself in the red zone, if you're finding yourself making excuses, what if, but, however, you know you need to move yourself out of that into how can you achieve it or get to your goal instead. And then utilize your emotions to drive that through. I hope that you guys have found this a special video today, and let me know what you've done if you use something slightly different from this strategy here for you to get to your goals.